What's up, beautiful souls? Thank you very much for clicking this video. You are respected and loved. Today's videos, they are great videos. Watch till the end. Please tell us where you're watching from. We are about love, mercy, peace, forgiveness, and honesty. Straight out of Africa with the good vibes. Good vibes. Yo, you are wonderful and beautiful. Let's dive in, man.
Planet. You can go from New York to Brazil, Buenos Aires, and then Antarctica without ever coming up to the surface for air. And you can do it all at way more than 1,000 miles an hour on magnetic levitation trains, otherwise called maglev. I talked to a military veteran who said, Jim, I'm a war veteran, I'm a military specialist, I don't want to give away more. And he told me a lot of different things. But one thing he told me, he went from Virginia to Los Angeles in 45 minutes. Do the math, 3,000 miles an hour. 45 minutes is 3/4 of an hour. Multiply by 4/3. On 3,000 miles, you get 4,000 miles an hour. Easy napkin math.
Okay, here's the thing. We think about Antarctica, we think about these underground places, we hear all these testimonies, and we've heard it all over the internet of really credible people that were ex-military. I think we give anybody the benefit of the doubt until they're proven wrong. And I've been hearing these stories about these underground facilities, these underground places, these places that they are doing genetic experiments, that alien graves, like the Dulce base, alien graves that are doing genetic experiments on humans that have been kidnapped. I mean, these are things that could possibly be going on that we've heard about, that the reptilians live underground. Okay, all of that aside, if they're traveling like this for thousands of miles underground, this shows that they have everything in place. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. Before you say I'm spreading wrong information, I'm saying that it's possible that if we were depopulated and the world was depopulated, they're good to go for nuclear war, anything else that happens. The elite, they're good, and whoever they want else that can be part of this with the one world government, one world order, that it seems to be that the United States is trying to force on everybody else, that they could remain here for a while. They say they've got livestock, they've got food, they've got everything down there. These energy sources that we don't know about, this technology that we don't know about. And that's why they don't tell us anything, because they don't want us to know about this. But we know about it. Those of us who study this and really look into this, we know. We know. And for the ones that don't, I just sound like a lunatic to you. But that's okay, because I don't care if that's what I sound like, because I know what's going on. With that being said, tell me, what are your thoughts? What do you think they're doing underground? What do you think? Are there really giants and Nephilim underground? Are there really alien grays with doing genetic experiments on humans and trying to make hybrid species? Tell me what's going on. What do you think?
Oh my god, what do you think? Please share your
If you ever
thoughts.
find what looks like oil in the water, a simple trick to see if it is just from natural decomposition or if it is from petroleum is to take a stick or rock or your finger and poke it. You tap it, beep, it just shatters. Beep. Beep. If the sheen is coming from gasoline or a petroleum product, when you poke it, it will just kind of reform back into the blob again. And if it is from natural decomposition, you'll poke it and it will stay broken up.
I want to talk about dreams, but not dreams as when you're sleeping, but dreams as in your deepest desires. Now, what I'm calling your deepest desires are desires you've had for a very long time, and no matter how many times you have failed to manifest these dreams, that desire is as strong as ever. Maybe you had the desire first come up as a child, and it's been many, many years, and you still haven't manifested these dreams. And yet, nothing seems to truly kill these very deep desires. Sometimes we may stop thinking about our dreams for a little while, but then it comes back, and it always comes back just as strong, no matter how many times our physical reality is showing that it's not here, it's not here. And our mind is often saying, oh, it's never going to manifest, it's never going to come, I'm just fooling myself. And yet, even with these thoughts, your dreams never go away. You always have these burning desires. So this is what I'm calling your dreams. So if you have these types of dreams, these burning desires that never go away, they're always with you no matter how much failure you have faced. The only reason that you have these dreams is because they are memories from your future. So I said memories from your future. I'm going into what people call the quantum field, and the fact that there is a future version of you that is already living the life of your dreams. And when you are in a moment when you're thinking about your deep desires and you have images in your mind, that is actually a communication that is happening between your current version and that future version. This communication that is happening with your current self and your future self is not happening mostly through thoughts and the mind. The essence of it is heart energy. And do you know why that is? Because if your future self could only speak to you through thoughts, your dreams would have died a very long time ago when you noticed that you can never manifest your dreams. Like after the first year, the second year, the third year, nothing shows up, nothing shows up. If it was all up to your mind and logic would say, you are kidding yourself. You are being very foolish. These things are never going to manifest. That's what logic says. That's what the mind says. And so if it was only in the mind, those dreams would have died a long time ago. And that's why they didn't die. Because it has nothing to do with the mind. It has everything to do with your heart. And your heart doesn't do logic. Your heart just feels very deeply. And the other incredible reason why this communication is happening only through the heart is because the mind is all about linearity, about time. Whereas the heart doesn't work with that. It is beyond linearity. And that's why you can feel such deep desires that make absolutely no sense to you, and especially to those around you. How can you have these desires when you have no money and you've never had money and everybody around you has never had a lot of money? How can you keep having these desires? Why don't you face reality? Well, they're talking about the logical reality, whereas in the heart, there is no time, there is no logic. All there is truth. And so truth means that your heart knows that you are destined to have all of your desires come true because they've already come true. It's not that you're going to manifest them in the future. It's that one day you're going to be vibrating at the frequency of that future self, and suddenly you'll be that future self that already has everything you have ever dreamed of. So when it comes to the quantum field and the fact that your entire life already exists, like your future events already exist, this makes people think that we don't have free will, because if it's already happened, how am I choosing? Now, the truth is that as this small human, which is really the ego, you don't have much free will. But in the big picture, all that you have is free will. So let me explain this. So if your entire life has already been planned or lived out, how do you have free will? Well, you can imagine that that blueprint, which is your entire life, was designed by you, only it was designed by a higher version of you. So you can't really say that somebody else designed your life for you. It was you, it just wasn't this ego human you. That's where it gets confusing. So even though I kind of understand that the quantum field is infinitely more complex than what I'm going to explain, I'm just going to simplify it so that we can all understand. You know when you're playing either a YouTube video or you're watching a TV series or movie, and when you have the remote, you can see the whole length of the movie. So let's say that the movie is 2 hours, and you're starting at 0 seconds, right? And then there's going to be 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes into the movie, an hour and 20, and then 2 hours is when it ends. Imagine that that length of time of 2 hours is your entire life on Earth. But the difference is, when you're watching a movie, you have the power, which is the remote, to fast forward to any part of the movie. You can go into the future of the movie, then you can go back to the beginning of the movie. That power we don't have as human beings. We are stuck living in linearity, which is second by second going forward. So if we had the power to go back and forward in time, then you could say we would be more in the quantum field, in the essence of what the quantum field is. But in the human experience, you can't do that. And so that's why we think that linearity exists. Like, this is the now, 5 minutes later is into the future, 1 hour ago was the past. But if you could have the power to go back and forth and do whatever you want, then you would see that time is just an illusion. So instead of having the absolute free will to go backwards and forwards like in a movie, what we have is a different kind of free will, and that is, instead of watching the movie go by, we have the ability to pause. And what I mean by pause is we can delay what's coming up. So if you're watching a movie and you press pause, that scene stops. And what that means in your life is, when you're scared to make a decision that's going to change your life, you're kind of pausing. You're kind of in that suffering for days or weeks or whatever it is. But eventually, because of the probability of things, you're eventually going to press play and your movie is going to continue. So that's the only free will that we have as humans, is to pause. But even that free will of pausing isn't really absolute, because the more time you spend in the pause, the more suffering you will be in. And so even there, you're being pressured by existence to continue with your movie, which is to see the next scenes. And the next scenes are future versions of you that you're scared of meeting because you don't know what they're like. And yet, when you press play, you're going to meet those future versions, and everything that you want is going to happen for you. So this is why I say in my videos for you not to panic or worry if you're not doing something, if you can't, if you're scared, because you might be in a pause moment. Every single human has to have pause moments when we're too scared to do something. And as we stay in that pause, we will naturally come to a moment when we're going to press play again, which is we're going to face our fears. But that moment comes in naturally, usually when we get tired of being in a pause and we want some change in our life.
Oh, that sounds quite interesting.
And so I asked, does anyone stay with the old world? They said, it is dying, and those who chose to stay with it, it does seem like there are some, their life cycle will inevitably end within the next 50 years, and it will make no difference that they chose to stay in a dying old world. There are many that are in their 60s that will do just that. That is that generation's option. And so I asked, they have the option to go with the old world? And they said, with the understanding that they will come back into the new world. There are some that need to see the old world through to the end of its death, that they have been sworn, like almost taking an oath, to see it through to the end, and they will do so, and they will usher it out. And that will make many people uncomfortable, but it is their role, and it is okay to let them do that. So we asked, is there any other way people will ascend to the new world? I've heard clients talking about natural disasters. And they said, yes, that will be another way, but the natural disasters will signify the beginning of a new earth here, but it will have no effect on the new earth beyond us there.
How do you think these things? Oh my god!
Symbolic Literacy Lesson 8, the Double-Headed Eagle. The double-headed eagle is one of the most common symbols in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, specifically for 32nd and 33rd degree Freemasons. The symbol was most likely introduced in 1758. However, the symbol existed long before its use in the Scottish Rite, dating all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia. The most common design of the symbol features the wings of the double-headed eagle pointing downwards, which is mostly reserved for 32nd degree Freemasons. However, some versions of the double-headed eagle feature the wings pointing upward, reflecting the Mason's higher status. For example, in the Northern Masonic jurisdiction, the wings up design is reserved specifically for 33rd degree active members. Albert Pike, one of the most prominent Freemasons, believed that the double-headed eagle was an alchemical symbol representing duality and the polarity that gives birth to life. One of the heads represents physical power, where the other head represents divine, spiritual, protective power. Once again, we can notice the symbolism of the material and spiritual powers working together in tandem, as well as the great work of spiritual integration through the unification, interdependence, and intertwinement of opposites. Finally, the Latin phrase Deus meum cuius translates to God and my right, and is a common Masonic motto, sometimes associated with the double-headed eagle. Follow me for more symbolism and decodes like this, and if you feel like I missed something, drop it in the comments.
Oh, this story, the Freemasonry is always creepy, man. Oh my god!
โอ้ขับงูใหญ่โตมันอยู่ได้ล่ะนี่หมุนปลามันสิเบ็ดโอ้ขับ
Oh, how long is that tree? Oh my god! This is really an Whoa, wait a minute! Whose child is this? That child. What? Oh,
Did you know that if
child.
you grate an apple, flavor the pulp with lemon zest and cinnamon, and then mix in an egg, sugar, flour, and baking powder, and fry into small little balls and coat them in cinnamon sugar, you'll have made some super easy and delicious apple fritters.
Ah. Oh my god.
If you take turmeric or curcumin, you need to watch this video, and I'll keep it short. I've talked about this recently in the past, about the fact that so many turmeric products, and by the way, that is the correct pronunciation of the word. That first R is not silent. It's not turmeric, it's turmeric. But so many turmeric products contain lead. The manufacturers put a lead-based paint in them to give them a brighter color, because the brighter colored turmeric is more valued. In other words, they don't care if they kill you, they just want you to buy their product. And that's one of the problems we're seeing in this world. There's so many unscrupulous people who don't care about the damage they cause other human beings as long as they can make money. In the United States, at least, our government does not protect us, so you got to protect yourself. I don't know what to tell you. I have done a lot of research on this, and I know there are companies that claim that their product is lead-free. I don't know how you believe that, especially when you look at the olive oil manufacturers who are claiming to sell you extra virgin olive oil, which in many cases is half soy oil, or in some cases it's all soy or some other inferior and harmful oil that contains some chemicals to make it taste like olive oil. So you can't trust these people. So what I'm recommending is that you buy fresh turmeric and do it yourself.
Oh, what is this? What are these symbols? Oh my god. This looks like drawings. Wait a minute. This the alphabet, or what is this? This looks like some. What size are those? Oh my god.
Life hack, always walk around with a staff. When you hold a staff, it connects you to the earth without taking your shoes off. It's basically grounding without needing to take your shoes off. It grounds your energy and it charges you up from the earth.
This is something I bet you never thought about. An earthquake has just been captured underwater. According to Reuters, last Wednesday, Indonesia's Banda Aceh was hit by two powerful earthquakes between 6.8 and 6.9. Now, the video you're seeing seems to have originated from this TikTok account, and it shows a large group of scuba divers getting tossed around like they're in a bloody bathtub. One of them grabs onto a coral thinking they're about to get swept away. Sand starts getting stirred up, and for some bloody reason, my man's wearing a hat underwater. And if you want to know what an earthquake looks like from a plane, I'm sure someone will get you a blue comment.
I'd like to know how it looks like.
My ship is still exactly above us. Now in Sedona. Above Bell Rock. How far?
Yeah.
At this particular moment, 1,000 feet.
Oh. Cross.
900 feet.
Wow. Great.
800 feet.
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, back to 900. You just scared me. 700 feet.
Oh.
Where it will remain for a while.
Oh my god, this thing, you mean that guy has a spaceship?
In the 1920s, the German mathematician David Hilbert devised a famous thought experiment to show us just how hard it is to wrap our minds around the concept of infinity. Imagine a hotel with an infinite number of rooms and a very hard-working night manager. One night, the infinite hotel is completely full, totally booked up with an infinite number of guests. A man walks into the hotel and asks for a room. Rather than turn him down, the night manager decides to make room for him. How? Easy. He asks the guest in room number 1 to move to room 2, the guest in room 2 to move to room 3, and so on. Every guest moves from room number n to room number n plus 1. Since there are an infinite number of rooms, there is a new room for each existing guest. This leaves room 1 open for the new customer. The process can be repeated for any finite number of new guests. If, say, a tour bus unloads 40 new people looking for rooms, then every existing guest just moves from room number n to room number n plus 40, thus opening up the first 40 rooms. But now, an infinitely large bus with a countably infinite number of passengers pulls up to rent rooms. Countably infinite is the key. Now, the infinite bus of infinite passengers perplexes the night manager at first, but he realizes there's a way to place each new person. He asks the guest in room 1 to move to room 2. He then asks the guest in room 2 to move to room 4, the guest in room 3 to move to room 6, and so on. Each current guest moves from room number n to room number 2n, filling up only the infinite even-numbered rooms. By doing this, he has now emptied all of the infinitely many odd-numbered rooms, which are then taken by the people filing off the infinite bus. Everyone's happy, and the hotel's business is booming more than ever. Well, actually, it is booming exactly the same amount as ever, banking an infinite number of dollars a night. Word spreads about this incredible hotel. People pour in from far and wide. One night, the unthinkable happens. The night manager looks outside and sees an infinite line of infinitely large buses, each with a countably infinite number of passengers. What can he do? If he cannot find rooms for them, the hotel will lose out on an infinite amount of money, and he will surely lose his job. Luckily, he remembers that around the year 300 BCE, Euclid proved that there is an infinite quantity of prime numbers. So to accomplish this seemingly impossible task of finding infinite beds for infinite buses of infinite weary travelers, the night manager assigns every current guest to the first prime number, 2, raised to the power of their current room number. So the current occupant of room number 7 goes to room number 2 to the 7th power, which is room 128. The night manager then takes the people on the first of the infinite buses and assigns them to the room number of the next prime, 3, raised to the power of their seat number on the bus. So the person in seat number 7 on the first bus goes to room number 3 to the 7th power, or room number 2187. This continues for all of the first bus. The passengers on the second bus are assigned powers of the next prime, 5. The following bus, powers of 7. Each bus follows powers of 11, powers of 13, powers of 17, etc. Since each of these numbers only has 1 and the natural number powers of their prime number base as factors, there are no overlapping room numbers. All the bus's passengers fan out into rooms using unique room assignment schemes based on unique prime numbers. In this way, the night manager can accommodate every passenger on every bus, although there will be many rooms that go unfilled, like room 6, since 6 is not a power of any prime number. Luckily, his bosses weren't very good in math, so his job is safe. The night manager's strategies are only possible because while the infinite hotel is certainly a logistical nightmare, it only deals with the lowest level of infinity, namely the countable infinity of the natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Georg Cantor called this level of infinity Aleph 0. We use natural numbers for the room numbers as well as the seat numbers on the buses. If we were dealing with higher orders of infinity, such as that of the real numbers, these structured strategies would no longer be possible, as we have no way to systematically include every number. The real number infinite hotel has negative number rooms in the basement, fractional rooms, so the guy in room 1/2 always suspects he has less room than the guy in room 1, square root rooms like room radical 2, and room pi, where the guests expect free dessert. What self-respecting night manager would ever want to work there, even for an infinite salary? But over at Hilbert's Infinite Hotel, where there's never any vacancy and always room for more, the scenarios faced by the ever-diligent and maybe too hospitable night manager serve to remind us of just how hard it is for our relatively finite minds to grasp a concept as large as infinity. Maybe you can help tackle these problems after a good night's sleep, but honestly, we might need you to change rooms at 2 a.m.
Oh man, well, you see, that was pretty interesting. A lot of infinities, rooms, numbers, people. It really does my mind. That's a mathematical story, and sometimes coming across such stories, it's hard to fathom. You can also share infinite love to those around you, and it can be so nice because infinity love could actually have infinity positive impact. Much love to you. Watch till the end and hit the like button. You are respected. Shout out to everybody that has watched up to this far. Yeah, shout out to those guys you see in the comment section. Much love. You are loved and treasured and all that. Just keep watching, man. Wait. The Chinese are now turning their hair to African hair. Oh my god. You mean some people out there want to have hair like this to my or some of my friends here? You see, there's a friend of mine that has some very good hair that even English people want to shave him.
Please stop scrolling just for a moment, please.
like our guy did with the sound.
I was today years old when I realized that I was using the grater all wrong. Simple, turn your grater flat, and everything will fall inside and not make a mess. Thank me later.
How come I've never heard of that?
Some security operatives were out for some sort of mission, but what they found and would later shoot at in panic is utterly unexplainable.
Oh my god, what was that thing? Looks like a ghost.